Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala rasulillah. So, figured that I would talk to you guys today about ta'ziyah and the idea of giving condolences. I just came from an aza, condolences given to a friend of mine here in the city whose brother had passed away. May Allah have mercy on him. And it's always for a very, very long time I would not go to these things. I would not go to aza. I would not go to janaza. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was very, very difficult for me dealing with the concept or the topic of death and the deaths of people's loved ones. And a lot of it had to do with my own processing of deaths in my own family and how I was treated at that time. So my father's death, and then later my dear grandmother's death, affected me greatly. And because I had not properly grieved and processed through those deaths, I found it extremely difficult to be able to go and grieve for others and console others when myself had not felt that I had been consoled. And so, I'm not going to get into the details of ta'ziyah. The Prophet ﷺ would, when anyone would die, he would say to them, لِلَّهِ مَا أَعْطَى وَلِلَّهِ مَا أَخَذْ وَلِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ أَجْلٌ مُسَمَّى اصبر واحتسب وأجرك على الله. For Allah belongs what for Allah belongs what He has given, and for Allah belongs what He has taken, and for everything there is an appointed time. So have patience and seek your reward. And there are many other dua and phrases, and I've actually included them in an article that I wrote on my website. You can search my website, or just search in Google Joe Bradford Solace, SOLACE, and consoling each other, giving condolences upon death. And I mention in there the many different ways that the Prophet ﷺ, the companions, and the Salaf, they would give condolences to each other. And I specifically mention the method of consoling and giving condolences to people whose faith you do not share, to people who are not Muslim, to people who have a different faith than you. And I wrote this article. I actually wrote this article within days of my own father's death, because I found that many Muslims hadn't the foggiest idea on how to simply just be a decent person and call and give condolences. They didn't know how to do it for Muslims, much less for someone who passed away that was not a Muslim. And so I want to bring awareness to this because, it doesn't take a lot. If you haven't memorized the dua, you don't know what to say. It doesn't take a lot to just call somebody and say, I'm sorry for your loss, and if you need me, I'm here. That's really all that you have to do. When you see somebody, you don't have to say a lot. Just give them a hug. Let them know that you are there for them. It makes a huge difference. And it's not always the things that you say, but maybe it's just the fact that you are there for them. It's the fact that you have expressed your concern. It's the fact that you have shown that you care. And I think the reason why I had a lot of trouble going to other people's janaiz and azat and things like that is because, when my father died, I was actually overseas. I was a student in Medina at that time. And so, but when my grandmother died, I actually was living here in the U.S. And I can't recall anyone intentionally coming up to me and offering their condolences except for one individual. There's only one person that I remember that specifically came up to me and mentioned that he knew that my grandmother had passed away and expressed his sorrow and had asked if I needed anything. One person. And the assumption that people make is that, oh, well, Joe, you're very well known in the community, and so, everybody has probably already done it, so I won't do it. And maybe that's the thinking, or maybe people are oblivious, or maybe they don't know what to say. My point to you all is just be a human. Do what you think is right in the moment. You don't have to say a lot. Just show that you care. It makes a huge difference. It's extremely difficult to lead janaiz and to give speeches at people's azat and things like that when you yourself have never, people never gave you the same courtesy. And it takes time to work out of that. And through therapy, in lots of, contemplation and self-reflection, alhamdulillah, that's passed. What do I mean by therapy? Well, it's extremely important that, if you have trauma in your life that you haven't been able to work through, that you go and seek therapy. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're deficient or you're, there's this whole stigma about, seeking help. I mean, people take vitamins and vitamin C all day long when they think they have a vitamin deficiency, or they want to get healthier, they want to strengthen their immune system, but they think that somehow going to therapy is not going to help them. If they need a diet help, they go speak to a nutritionist. So if you need emotional help, go speak to a therapist. It's the same thing. There's absolutely no need to be pig-headed about this and deny yourself the help that you need. If you need help, then go and get the help, and go to a therapist and ask them, give me a plan, give me a 16-week plan, give me an 8-week plan, whatever it is. Help me through this problem. Name the problem for them and tell them where you need to work. And throughout the process, they're going to mention other things to you, like, hey, I think you might need that. But start with, find someone and, see if they can help you. So that's number one with the thing about, therapy. Number two, is self-reflection. You have to remember when you're going to give condolences to someone, it's about them, not about you. Be there for them. Don't be there for yourself. Allow them to understand that you care about them and that you are praying for them, and that anything that they need, that you will be there for them. And that, makes a huge difference. Just presence. The Prophet ﷺ, he told his companions after the death of Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, he said, "Isna'u li ali Ja'far ta'aman faqad ja'ahum ma yujdiruhum." Go and make food for the family of Ja'far, because something's come to them that will busy them. So, family and friends and neighbors making food and sending it to you is not just about the food. It's also about the presence of the people and the presence of people around you, to show you that they care, to show you that you mean something. And so, my message in this vlog is really, we complicate things. We make things harder than they have to be. And we act like, there's somehow we're gonna do or say the wrong thing, or that, we're afraid of messing up, and so we just don't say anything. We have this problem as Americans. All of my American friends that I talk to, say this. They say, we've got this attitude of just like, oh, just give them some free time, just give them some alone time. It's okay, and that's absolutely not the case. We do not have to be in azah overburdensome and overbearing. It's mentioned in the hadith, "Iyadatul marid fuwaq naqa." The visiting of a sick person is the time it takes you, to milk a camel. Meaning you should be going there about, between 5 minutes at most, and visiting the person, making dua for them, and then similarly is giving azab. So it's not, this festival that people will sometimes make it out to be, but it is also not this thing of being standoffish and not, and not approaching the person at all, and then finding them weeks later, and then, I heard, but I didn't want to go. Come on, I mean, just, show care and concern. The Prophet ﷺ was in Medina. This hadith is in Muslim, that a janazah passed by, a janazah beer, a funeral beer passed by, and he stood up, and so the people said, Ya Rasulullah, innaha janazatu Yahudi. Oh, Messenger of Allah, this is the funeral procession of a Jewish person. He said, Alaysat nafsan? Is this not a soul? So, regardless of whether you share faith or not, respect is due. And if you do share faith, then even, it's even more, it's expected of you even more. And there are many ahadith and nusus. And as you can tell, I'm driving right now, so I'm not recalling everything about the topic. But, it's important. Another reason why I wanted to talk about ta'ziyah today is because, it really is a communal event, not a planned event. It's not something that there's some bid'ah that people have. A person dies, and then you do a gathering in the first 40 days, and then the next 80 days, the next 120 days, and all these things that become like they become like like Eid or something. That's not what we should be doing. But getting together to give condolences, give some food, show that you care immediately after the death or in the days surrounding it is fine. There's no problem with that. And it's so important to do so because it's a communal event that shows the concern that we have for others, and it teaches people in our community that we in times of difficulty we should be coming together, and in times of difficulty our children and our grandchildren will have to learn that we come together at these times. And if they don't, then don't expect them to be at the janazah if you're not going to be there at the azah. Don't expect them to be at the azah if you're not going to be visiting people when they're sick. Don't expect them to visit people they're sick if you're not socializing and understanding when people are there and when they're not. So this is a very communal, Islam is a faith of personal responsibility, but its personal responsibility is achieved through communal activity. Islam is a faith of personal responsibility, but personal responsibility is exemplified, is achieved and shown through communal activity. And this is why so much in our deen focuses on jama'ah and things like that. So, to sum up, condolences are important. Be sure to give condolences to those who you don't think even need condolences, and I can't stress enough, converts and people that are of different cultures than ours, they need to know that we care as community members as well. Don't make it burdensome, but don't be standoffish, and take your kids and let people understand. Even if you can't take your kids, make sure to tell them in the afternoon or the evening about the condolences and the azat and things like that, and the deaths, so that they understand, that they understand there's a life cycle, and it should encourage us to be cognizant of the fact that we too will die one day, and that if we don't keep that in mind, then we'll be at loss in both this life and in the next. So with that, inshallah ta'ala, until something comes up for this playlists, I've decided to entitle Vlog. If you like it, drop a comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I hope that you benefit. Inshallah ta'ala, in the coming weeks and months, you'll see a lot more video production coming out, inshallah ta'ala, due to, alhamdulillah, actually having a voice now. So, take care, guys. Assalamu alaikum.